people don't realize how much hogs for pork and the meat that we produce in the industry, how much it takes to feed the world. Like it takes a lot.
You know, we don't do every interview over barbecue here at Manufacturing Happy Hour. That might need to change starting today. What I will say is that in this episode, we're going to show you how the sausage is made, literally. So we'll dive on in. Why don't we just kind of start here then? What makes Kansas City barbecue the best then?
I think the flavor, just the way it's prepared.
Yeah.
You know, I like it better. Now, if you're talking chili, I'd rather have Texas chili.
Oh, okay. What is Texas chili?
They don't put the beans in.
Oh, they don't put the beans. That's the main thing.
And there'll be like more meat and veggies in it.
Yeah.
Less. They don't put the beans in most of the time in Texas chili.
Midwest chili is definitely bean centric.
Yeah.
If I think
full
back
of beans.
to the ones.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I like Texas chili a little better sometimes.
Have you ever had?
I don't mind regular bean chili, but Texas chili's better.
So Midwest chili, full of beans. I have to ask, how do you feel about Cincinnati chili? If you've ever had that, which is
never had it.
Never had it.
Never
you know what it is? Do you know what it is?
No.
Out of curiosity, it's more like spaghetti sauce, kind of sweet and
Really?
cinnamony. People either love it or hate it.
Nah, I would
typically,
hate that.
as well. Okay, all right. So we'll go there. But what's in front of us? We got some burnt ends in front of us, and actually, I'm gonna grab
good.
one because this is the first time we've ever ate a burnt end on Manufacturing Happy Hour before. So, if you had to, actually, I'm gonna let you take a bite first before I ask you a question. That would be the worst thing to ask someone a question right when they've just put a juicy burnt end in their mouth. That's good. I typically wouldn't recommend doing an interview over burnt ends, but we're making an exception today.
Absolutely.
Because we're at Char Bar. You said they like the flavor the best. What do you have a particular? Is it ribs, burnt ends, chicken? What's your go-to?
I like burnt ends, and I like. Surprisingly, a lot of places I judge a place kind of by its turkey. Yep. Certain places have if they have really good smoked turkey, you know, like a smoked turkey, usually the other stuff's good too.
All right.
Because turkey will dry out real easy. So if they can do turkey where it won't dry out, the rest of the meat will be the same way. Because turkey will dry out real easy.
I love hearing everyone's barbecue tasting techniques or what their go-to dishes and things like that. I feel like turkey, as the way you just described it, very good litmus test. Because if you can get the turkey right, chances are you can get a lot of the other stuff.
Because turkey
right
breast will dry real easy.
Yep, no joke. Well, we can talk about food and beverage all day, which is exactly what we're here to do. But I want to hear a bit about your story, Shawn, as well.
Well, like I talked about before, I'm originally from Texas. I'm born and raised in Texas. Moved to northern Missouri, a town called Plattsburgh, when I was around 12, 13 years old. Spent most of my time up there, living up and growing up in that area. And kind of started out one path. I was a firefighter and, did fire and EMS for years. And then kind of changed up and went into maintenance industry. Started up at a big kill plant way up north. Killing 25,000 pigs a day. And, did from killing all the way through the full processing. I started out in maintenance there, worked my way up, got into management, and then kind of wound up where I'm at now at a sausage manufacturing company.
I have to ask, what did you learn as a firefighter that helped you as a maintenance leader, or still helps you as a maintenance leader today?
So the biggest thing I learned, and I've told this to plenty of people before, when you're dealing with situations in a manufacturing industry, when equipment goes down, right? In maintenance, we got to get it running. And when equipment goes down, they're losing money.
Yeah.
And so everybody will be freaking out. And I would always tell them, I'm like, hey, people aren't dying here. We're losing a little money. We may not be killing pigs, but nobody's dying. So calm down. We'll just get it done. From the world I came in firefighting, it was life and death.
Right.
And then when you're talking about just fixing a machine to cut up a pig, it's totally different, So it's always kept me calm and I was able to compartmentalize from years of doing, different, being in that situation where things were, life and death.
It gives you a sense of, like you're doing now, you're making sausages. You know how to keep a situation in perspective. So, well, I'm curious, how have you seen food and beverage evolve since you've gotten into it? Have you seen take your time. Take your time. Burn tens are important.
Yeah. It's gotten a lot busier. COVID, in 2020 kind of changed the way things ran. It got a lot busier because I think maybe people don't eat out as much. Mm-hmm. So depending on the industry you're in, like everything we make goes to, it's not food service. Mm-hmm. So at the plant I'm the engineer at, we don't make food service. So everything goes to a customer's table at home. Mm-hmm. And so our business went up drastically because, especially during 2020 when restaurants were closed, it really changed the landscape. So we started, getting a lot busier because I think people don't eat out as much. Maybe things have changed. Cost of everything's gone up so much. Yeah. We make brats and Italian sausages and meatballs and stuff like that. It's fairly inexpensive food to have, so we've gotten a lot busier. Yeah. Now the employee in the industry's changed a lot too. It's pretty hard to find, help and people that'll stay because there's so much, especially in Kansas City, there's so much industry and so much work out there that it's hard to keep them. It's a cold environment, it's a wet environment, so it's made it harder. Yeah. What's kept you going in that space then? Oh, I love it. Yeah? Yeah, I love the chaos. I love I like working in the food industry. And one of the things I've always told the people that I've hired or worked for me is one thing you'll guarantee is people are going to eat. Yeah. There's no way around it. People will always eat. Mm-hmm. And so especially when you're working for a place that does, less food service and more, they'll take home meals and things like that. You're going to be busy because people are always going to eat. Yeah. So it's a great thing to know that you're going to be able to take care of your family and feed your family because you're always going to have work because everybody's always going to eat. What has made kind of Kansas City a special place to do this, or why, of all the spots that you could be making sausages, why is Kansas City a hub for it? Well, that's a good question. I think it's good. It's centralized, and it's there's a lot of shipping and stuff out of this area, a lot of DCs and shipping in this kind of centralized. Mm-hmm. So I think it made sense when they built the plant there. It's not far away from the kill plants. Mm-hmm. In this Midwest area, you got kill plants that are out on the outer edges of, a couple hours away. Yeah. So the meat coming in that we use to further process and make sausage, they can get here pretty quick and get us the product, then we'll reproduce, and then it's easy to ship in and out. So I think the central location of it all makes a big difference. Plus, like you talked about, it's barbecue. So I think everybody in Kansas City really, will, cook sausage and have barbecue. So yeah, I think it's a big part of it. I have to ask because I think a lot of people, when they think of manufacturing, they think of cars, they think of tires, they think of beer, they think of food and beverage for sure. But, I'm sure the sight of a kill plant is not one of the first things they want to have come to mind as well. What type of person does it take to be able to do that type of job? Mentally strong. I mean, I've seen people that will quit the first day. Mm-hmm. You gotta be willing to stick with it and realize that the benefits outweigh the having to deal with seeing the animals and the mess of it all. Right? It's not easy, but if you can make it in that, you can do anything. I mean, you can, and the pay is good. Mm-hmm. You'll always have work. that's the things that they will continually do.
Well, I think, unless you're a vegetarian, unless you're a vegan, that is a part that I know a lot of people maybe just block out of their mind in the process as well. But it is an inherent part to manufacturing, and manufacturing in the food and beverage industry, particularly whether it's meat, poultry, pork, whatever it is, that's an inevitable part of the process along the way.
Oh yeah.
I'm curious about the manufacturing community here too. Like, what makes manufacturing, particularly in this area, special? We've talked about like the logistics, how it's centrally located as well. But what about the type of people that are here, the attitude? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that as well.
With it being competitive in Kansas City area, because there's so much manufacturing around, you have to kind of vet the people and get good people, and so that you have to be competitive. So you do have tendency, you can get some good employees out of people that are good and seasoned, and they have experience. So that makes a big difference. You'll know that if you're hiring somebody from another manufacturer that's been doing it for 10 years, you're probably going to get somebody that knows what they're doing, and because there's a lot of industry around here that we can get that out of them. And then and in Kansas City, we're close to a lot of good things like supply houses and all your places to get parts and all your materials. We're close to everything. I've worked up in plants where there's not a lot of stuff around, and it's different. You're battling the, if I need something, I can't just drive down the street and get it, or call a account manager and have them bring it to me.
So there's an ecosystem here,
Absolutely.
And it's within close range. So with groups like Renson House, or the part. I mean, do you have how do partners play into keeping your facility?
It's
running?
huge. So Renson House in particular, the way they carry a lot of parts, and you build a relationship with them, right? Like with my manager that I deal with, we have a good relationship. I can call him up and say, hey, I need this and I need it right now, and he'll bring it to me. Yeah. They keep a lot of parts in stock. They'll, if I call up him and say, hey, I need somebody that can come in with Renson House and help me figure out this drive or this piece of equipment that they sell, that they manufactures, they'll bring somebody in, kind of an expert in that realm of things, whether it's a safety system or a drive. They'll be able to bring somebody in that can help you with it. You don't get that from everybody.
Right.
So that's huge, and I've always said that I'll stick to buying their products because they can support it. Like, you get a lot of support where other ones you don't necessarily always get that.
Yeah.
So that's huge when you get that kind of support.
So this brings a bigger question, whether it's selecting a partner, whether it's selecting someone on your team. You talked about how, it's sometimes tough to get people to stay in these type of roles.
Absolutely.
But what is a non-negotiable in someone's character that you look for? That, sure, you can put a warm body in that role, or sure, you can pick a partner that may help you get the job done that day. I wouldn't even call them a partner. You can pick a vendor that may help you get the job done that day, but what type of things do you look for in someone's character?
For a big one for me is honesty.
Yeah.
Like, if they're honest about it and just tell it like it is, and don't tell me something that I just want to hear. Give it to me straight. Hey, we can't get this for you, or don't tell me, oh yeah, I'll get it for you tomorrow, and then it doesn't show up. Or even in a person, I'll be there, but then you don't. Or just don't lie to me. Tell me the truth. We'll work it out one way or another. That's huge to me. If you're not honest with me, I can't work with you. Yeah.
No, it makes sense. And with deliveries and things like that, you can get a quick sense on honesty pretty rapidly.
I'd much rather know ahead of time because then I can account for it and deal with it.
Yeah. Now, what would you describe, we've been talking about food and beverage manufacturing quite a bit. Before I get there, I've got one other question. How do you feel your personal impact on the overall food and beverage industry and the ecosystem, or really the work you're doing and how it impacts the world?
Yeah, well,
maybe that's a little over dramatic, but any words go.
Well, I think I like to think that even just on a small level, I'm the engineer of the plant, and I have 20 some odd people that count on me every day. And I think, I try to build relationships with all of them. And I just want to make sure that everybody at the end of the day goes home safe, that they have what they need. And if they need something, they can come to me about it. And so I try to build those relationships. And then the same with, even the partnerships with the other, companies that we buy products from. I try to get to know them and, have a relationship with them. And, that way, ultimately it'll benefit me and my people because we can call on them and get their help.
Yeah.
So I always, I try to be very relationship based, and I try to do that with everybody. Build a good relationship, partnership, be honest with them, and that's how I try to do it.
What, where do you see the food and beverage industry going, or maybe some of the things you're addressing now, where you can see like this is the direction I see it going in the future?
I think it's just going to get busier. I mean, more people are coming, and it doesn't seem to slow down. I think it's going to be, the hard part is it's the expense, right? The costs just keep going up. And with our industry, especially because it's meat industry, right? The expense keeps going up, and they've had to, they've closed, say for instance, hog plants down because of the cost of running them. So I hope we don't end up in a food shortage someday, but that's probably way out there. But that people don't realize that how much like hogs for pork and the meat that we produce in the industry, how much it takes to feed the world. Like it takes a lot. People don't realize it. Yeah. The kill plant I was at, we killed 6.3 million hogs a year. And to wrap your head around that, and that's just one plant.
That's a lot.
And people don't.
I don't know if I could make it in one of those plants, to be honest.
Yeah. And people don't realize that. A lot of people will say don't kill the animals and stuff like that. But what's going to feed everybody? And they don't realize that a lot of people count on it. And if we shut down hog production, people are going to starve. Yeah. Or beef or whatever, chicken. I've never worked in a chicken plant, but I know that they kill a lot of chickens. Yeah. So,
as you made a couple points, you're like, costs are going up, it's getting busier. How does that impact you as a manufacturer? And what do you do to keep up with that demand? Automation is one of the first things that comes to my mind.
Yeah, so we've done a lot of automation. We just recently added a robot a robot last year, and we've added 2 this year. And we just changed our entire process to make it more automated on 2 different lines. That was a huge project, and it, unfortunately, it eliminates some jobs, right? And we didn't eliminate their jobs; we just repurposed the people within the plant because we had open positions anyways. Because it seems like we always do. Yeah. But automation is huge because it, and of course, you don't have to count on a robot or a automated piece of equipment to show up to work or get sick, or you just have to keep it running, which is where maintenance comes in and is really important, and having the supplies and the parts that we need.
Yeah. So what is the biggest challenge in maintenance in this day and age? Because I mean, it's a space I worked in for a while. It's changing. You've got CMMS systems that keep you more organized and things like that. What's big in maintenance right now as well?
So I think one of the hardest things is getting parts, right? Yeah. Getting readily available parts. There's times where the lead times are really high and it's hard to get the parts you need. But yeah, there's, it's a different realm of things. Everything is going to CMS systems, and so your maintenance guys, like you see typically so I've had guys that are older in the industry, right? Have been doing it for 20 years, 30 years. And they come in and you want them to use a CMS system and they hate it and they just fight it tooth and nail. And then I get younger kids that I hire in and they're like, oh, this is great, this is easy. They may not know how to work on the stuff as easy, but they love the paperwork part of it and the computer part of it and the robot side of it. They love that stuff.
They can probably learn pretty quickly on that.
Absolutely. They'll pick it up way quicker than a guy that's been doing it for 30 years, never worked on a robot in his life. The learning curve is different. So that's huge, and just that makes a big difference. It really does. And so you kind of got to tailor it. I've got guys that have been in the industry for a long time that are great in mechanical, but maybe don't understand some of the other stuff. And then I've got guys that don't understand electrical and robots, and you just got to manage your people that way. So,
last question for you, and this is more of a macro question about Kansas City. How is food part of the culture here as well? We talked about making food all day.
Yeah. Food in Kansas City is huge. I mean, you can't drive down the road without seeing a restaurant in every corner or a barbecue place, right? There's so many different barbecue places, especially since we're sitting here with barbecue. But Kansas City's obviously known for barbecue.
Yeah.
One of the big things, and there's so many different kinds and styles everywhere. And so I think food industry is huge here. I see restaurants pop up all the time, and you can get things here that you can't get elsewhere.
Yeah.
And it's just like kind of every other town you go into that you find things that you won't find anywhere else.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's been cool here, getting to explore the character, getting to chat with you. Shawn, I just want to thank you for taking the time to jump on Manufacturing Happy Hour.
Thank you.
Cheers. These burnt ends aren't going to eat themselves, so I think that's the next task here.